Welcome to Surviving Mars. I'm Gamer Nan and I will be your host during this playthrough. So for those of you that have never experienced Surviving Mars, this is a very intricate tile management, resource management expansion onto a dead planet. We're going to try to increase the human resilience and survivability by claiming another world, aka Mars, to be another home world for us. So when you first start a new game, you're going to come into a screen like this, and what this is you're going to begin to set the parameters on your game. This is going to be how you set your difficulty, and how you kind of pick just the flavor of the playthrough that you're going to have. This has a lot of playability, replayability, because of all the different things you can do. These are your sponsors. These are the individuals that are actually sponsoring your mission. So we are playing the Green Planet. I'm going to stick with the terraforming initiative. It's a normal play, nothing spectacular. Again, all this new stuff is going to be a part of our same difficulty level. These are your commander profiles, so you get perks for certain commanders that you are going to allow to run your colony. Rocket Scientist is one of my favorites. It unlocks the jet propulsion, which gives you the shuttle hubs. But you can go through these and just see which ones you like. I'm going to go ahead and do the geoengineer just to stick with the terraforming initiative. Seeds are cheaper, and it gives you two greenhouse factories and two forestation factories, and the bonus tech is the design forestation. Newly grown forests have a chance to spawn vistas and research sites. Those are pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take that, and then we'll just stick with the our nice little trees there. Here, and you can go through here and you can choose whatever it is you want. I'm just going to stick with this, just keep it all one flavor. Here's your mysteries. You see I've only completed 2, but you can hit random, or you can go down here, and again, they're from easiest to hardest. I'm just going to do random. That just adds a little bit of mid-game to late-game excitement for you. And we'll talk more about mysteries once we get to that. You can set up your rival colonies. I would prefer during this playthrough not to have any. That adds a whole nother dimension to the game. You can trade and sabotage, and you're racing for certain milestones, achievements within the game. But for our playthrough, I'm going to do none. And then in this area here, you can set up certain, specific game rules that you want to do to kind of make it a little bit more challenging for you. Obviously, we can't not terraform because that is what we're designed to do. So right now we have a base level of about 180, which isn't very difficult. And we would say, yeah, normal difficulty. We're going to actually bump that up just a little bit. We hit this next screen, and they're going to give you our first shuttle. Now, they throw a basic layout. I am going to undo this. I'm going to start all the way over fresh. Because the way they want me to do it may not be exactly the way that I want to do it. So I'm going to start with one drone hub. Drone hubs are important. Fuel refinery, you got to have it, or you cannot send your rockets back. And I'm not going to take any Stirling generators. They're really good generators, but we're not going to do that. With that, I'm going to back out of there, and the first thing I want is a commander and an explorer. You notice that it has a cargo capacity. This is how much weight I have left to carry. This is how much funding I have. This is telling me how much money I actually have to spend. Um, let me see. With that, I want to bump up just a couple. Um, we'll take We'll take 2 orbital probes. That allows you to see the surface before you actually land. You get a picture of kind of where the resources are at before you actually touch down. With that, let me grab a couple of extra drones to make life a little bit easier. We don't need any food. You know what, I'm going to need these. I probably would prefer a bigger one and not even mess with these smaller factories. We'll go over those here in a bit. So with that, let me just add Alright, looks good for me. So we are going to, you can rename, I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're going next, and now at this stage here you get to decide where it is that you're going to land and where it is that you're going to start your new life on Mars at. They have some ready-made sites for you. They're like, hey, this is a good place to start, or you can pick anywhere on the map that you want. Depending upon where you pick is going to depend on how your difficulty level is. I like this one, the Marianas Alpha, because I don't know, it just seems cool. You're living in this big gouge. It seems like right in the middle of the planet. That sounds like a good thing to me. So a couple of things that you need to understand is your average altitude. So we are below well, what would be considered sea level for them, or you know, I guess they don't have a sea, so the planet's surface. So we're actually down. That affects your wind turbines. Your wind turbines get boosts as they get higher in elevation, and then it's -1 degrees Celsius, and the topography is rough. And then down here it tells you, okay, here's all your threats, your threat levels. For us, it's really low. We don't have to worry about much of anything here, and we got plenty of water, a moderate amount of concrete, and a decent amount of metals. I think that's where we're going to be at. So we have a middle of the road difficulty. Nothing real challenging. I think 480 is the highest. So we're probably at a normal level difficulty. With that, we're going to go ahead and start. So this is not going to be like the you know, for the expert surviving Mars.
Welcome to Mars.
This is going to be for individuals that are new to the game, or maybe you're struggling a little bit and you would like to find some tips, some hints to help your gameplay just be a little bit better than what it is. So welcome to Mars. The first thing that we're going to do, it's going to remind you, hey, this is what you chose, and we're like, yeah, I know, because I just chose it. So we're going to close this out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see all this. Yeah, you can go ahead and take your time and you can read all this. These are just notifications. It's telling you, hey, do this, do this, do this. I just hit spacebar or pause it because right now time is ticking away, and that's kind of important. It's going to say, yeah, let's start terraforming, and we're going to do that, but don't worry about it. Alright, so no active research. What we're going to do is we're going to click on our research screen. These are all your different research tiers that we're going to begin to undo. For us, we start off really low on our research. We're only getting 100 research per soul, but we'll be able to up that as time goes by. As you go through these, it's going to unlock new technologies for you to begin to be able to use. So at this point in time, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but what we want to do is we want to begin to travel down the technology tree. These are probably my 3 favorite right here. but each one of them just gives you so much, use, bang for your buck. First thing, salvaging and destroying buildings. The decommissioning protocol is kind of important, and also our drones and rovers move 20% faster. This is going to be great. And then, yeah, I don't really use vaporators or evaporators in my game style, so that really doesn't mean much for me. We're not going to have to worry about um, cold snaps, so that really doesn't mean much for me either, other than getting down and unlocking the tree. And more applicants from Earth, that'll be really important as we begin to go along. So these I'm just going to click. Make sure you always have um, at least a couple, three of them, if not all the way full. You can go back in here and you can right click and you can undo it, but you can get boosts to your research, and if you, let's say I get a boost and my boost is 1500 and it completes this. If I have nothing in these tiers here, then that extra 500 is wasted. But if I get 1500, it's going to complete this one and then put 500 into this one. So just make sure that you get, you keep at least a few of them in here at all times. So just randomly come in and check. Outsourcing. What this means is I can call Earth and say, hey, I need help researching. So here's this amount of money, and they will say, okay, well, for that amount of money, we'll give you this amount of research. So right now we have $6 billion. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the highest outsourcing. Now you can buy multiple. We're not going to do that right now, but we'll get 5,000 research for $1 billion. And in other words, what it's going to do is it's going to give us 1,000 research for 5 souls, which means we should be able to get through all of these within about 5 days. So that's what I'm going to choose. Notice how our research per soul went up to 1,100. Okay, now that we have that going, I want to go ahead and use my
official radio with
orbital probes,
radio host
and
choice with the best radio
so we're going to need water. That's a good find. Without water, it becomes very, very, very difficult. All right, so now with that, we need to kind of examine the surface a little bit, and we want to say, a lot of this game has to do with planning. So how are we going to lay out our colony? I like the metal, and then rare metals. This is actually really good. You can make polymers out of it. You can also ship it back to Earth and get paid for it. So these are all outbuildings. In other words, they cannot be inside your dome, but your dome has to be close enough to them that your people can work in them. We'll get into that a little bit more. We have water, definitely going to need, and then we have concrete. Concrete is one of your first needs that you really have to have if you want to do a good start. You cannot build without concrete. Metals, you can see these laying around on the surface. These are surface metals, so our drones and rovers and whatnot can pick these up. So we don't necessarily need to begin to drill immediately, but you cannot get concrete, you cannot get water without having extractors. So the way this looks, I think I'm going to put me a dome somewhere in this general area with the attempts of at least getting both of these, if not all three of those, within one drone period. So I'm going to land here. I think landing here, that's going to give me access to a lot of the surface metals, and well, no, I think I want to start on that. I want to get this one. This one's a little further up. I want to get this one, so I will do that. Looks good to me. All right, so with that we will unpause. You have speed levels really slow, nice, and then great. So touchdown with our first rocket. All right, so our rocket's touchdown. I'm going to go ahead and pause again. And the first thing I want to do is I want to begin to build storage. So we have a universal depot. This will store like I think it's 30 of all resources. So we'll put this down. This will allow our ship to be unloaded, because see, we have resources on our ship. This will begin to unload those resources, and then it'll also give a place for these to be loaded up onto our ship. So with that, we also have our explorer. This is an anomaly. As we research anomalies, they give us either research points. This is what this is. This will give us points in our research, which will help complete projects. These actually unlock breakthroughs. So this is a breakthrough technology. In other words, this is not a normal technology tree. It's a special tree that unlocks special technologies that are found only here on Mars. So that's what we're going to do. I want to start there. Oops. Let me choose my Explorer and just right click, and he'll run over there and he'll explore that. So we'll let these guys begin to unlock. So if I'm going to put a dome here.
We just received a letter from Magdalena, who works as a psychologist.
And
Dear
I'm going to
Pam,
have work
even
going
though
on.
I like your
I
show
want
and your
to,
interesting talks,
I think I want to
sometimes
use
find
this
the way you
area that's
express
going to be
your
away
opinions a
from
little bit
everything
blunt.
for my
Everything
power.
can't be resolved through facts.
So,
There are other aspects to take into consideration, like
let's see
emotions,
here.
innate drives, and values.
Infrastructure.
However, I do like the music
Get
you play and your
a
informative
drone hub
commentary.
set up.
Magdalena, I
And
understand you, but I find it hard to come up with a suitable response. I will think it over and get back to you with an answer.
you notice
I'll think better
the
with some
surrounding range with which it can operate. I want...
Breakthrough discovered. Milestone achieved.
Okay, so let me pause that for a second. I think I want right. Ooh, it's right there. I want right there. This covers everything within range, so I can cover all of that. Or do I want to? I might want to bump it down that way a little bit. It's hard because I'm not exactly sure where my dome is going to go. I could lay up like a prefab of my dome out. Here's our domes. We're going to be able to unlock larger and more significant domes as we go along. So yeah, see, I can easily cover all of those. Actually, I think I want to push that up just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. All right, so with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off. In other words, it's there, but they're not going to build it. So it'll just tell me, hey, this is where I'm going to put my dome so I can begin to build around it. This, however, I am going to build. So before we do that, it's another terraforming hint. So, dome streamlining. Okay, that's good, because what this is going to do, it's going to reduce the cost of building our domes, which, good. So what I want to do is this is almost complete, so there's no sense in switching that out. It's 2,000, so we will put that, and then we will put these back in there, and continue. So our first dome is going to be a little bit cheaper. So with that, we are going to research that, which will get us about halfway through that. And go.
Research complete.
Okay, decommissioning protocol has been completed. We got our first milestone by scanning that anomaly. We could turn hints off, but I'm just going to let them go. It looks like these guys, okay, so the metal is full, 30 of 30, but we still have metal laying around. So what I need to do is I need to build another storage facility, and I'm going to do a specific, or a depot, and I'm going to specifically do a metal one. Boom, and now they're going to go, oh, there's metal all over the place, and they'll go around and they'll start gathering our metal. Okay, so here's our drone hub sitting here, not
Anomaly analyzed.
doing
Resources are
anything.
low.
Alright, yeah, we have low power. It's telling us, hey, we don't have any power for this, and we're like, yeah, we know, we didn't set up any yet. That'll be our next step. So we got 1,500 from analyzing that anomaly that was right there, so that's a good amount. So that means we are probably almost complete. Oh yeah, we're at 93% complete on this. Ooh, this is another big one. This lowers the amount of fuel required to send shuttles back and forth. So it's not as important as this one because we can't even produce fuel yet. We will be able to do that shortly, but I don't need this and I don't need this, so I'll put that and then I'll put those two back. Alright, and close. So a lot of shuffling around. Let's keep running. Alright, with this, what I want to do is I want to build a cable. Now I'll show you first. Cable would be underneath our power, and here's all the things we can begin to build for power. And this is a power cable. This is what connects
Research
buildings and run
complete.
things around. There's the dome streamlining, it's done. So I didn't look, but I'm going to assume, let me double check, make sure it's, so it's 40, 10, and 10, 80, 20, and 20. So we're going to undo that. We're going to lay a good cheap one down like what we were talking about. I like that. Blammo. And then we're going to pause it. I'm not ready to begin to build that. I don't have the required needs for it. Right at the edge of my polymers. Definitely need to protect your polymers during the early game. They're a valued resource. All right, so with that, back to cable. Just hit C for cable. And we're going to stretch this out to, and we'll just go all the way out to there. Now my little guys here are going to just begin to, here, we're going to begin to build these cables. What I'm going to do, let me see, I want to do this a little bit different. I want to go, I'll go this way. And I want to begin to build. All right, so out of all your power supplies here, we can't build this yet. See how it says 0? That means that we have no prefabs and we do not have the ability to be able to construct that yet. We can construct this. It looks great. Base production is 10, but it costs one whole machine part to run. So in other words, if we built this, we would only have 15 basically maintenance. Actually, we would have less than that because it costs 2 to construct it. We'd have, I don't know, 13 days of maintenance or 13 maintenance trips, and then it would stop, it would malfunction until we got more machine parts. So if we look here, we could do this. Again, it requires one machine part to build and then a half a machine part for maintenance. So being as we don't have a supply of machine parts coming in, we probably want to stick with something that we do have supplies of. And we can supply ourselves with metals right now.
Research complete.
There's the low G drive, so now my little drone guys are moving a little bit quicker. We're going to do solar power because we're getting metal, and we can consistently get metal. And while it's solar power, in other words, it works during the daytime, we don't really have a need to work at night yet. For those of you that like to build, this is where you can begin to design and be all fancy and all that kind of stuff. So we got this drone hub up and working. This is part of what I was wanting. Okay, so with that, now we have two concrete sites that we need to begin to focus on. So with that, first thing I want to do is I want to go to production and concrete extractor. Now this yellow down here is what we're going to be harvesting. On mine, I think it's R or T. We can go in any direction to kind of rotate it, kind of make it nice and pretty as like you like it. I'm going to cover it like this. Now you see the hexagonal shapes around it. The very edge border, that's telling you that's how far this thing is going to throw dust. Dust will actually accumulate on other buildings, which means they require more maintenance. So we're going to make sure that these are well away from all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and lay it down here. With that, we need to run power to it. I'm going to go in this direction. Boom, and it's going to have power. Now with this, you need two things. One, you need the ability to be able to store the concrete that it's creating, and it also produces waste materials. You're going to need an ability to be able to store that. So we have a nice good area here. I'm going to go into storage, and you have dumping sites that you can build. This holds 105, this holds 285. I think I will just build one of those, and then I will build a concrete storage. We're going to just run that concrete storage right there. Doesn't make that way, they ain't got to go very far. They can run the concrete everywhere that we need it to go. So our attention is required. Diminishing returns. Okay, one of the leading companies in the field of nanotechnology and miniaturization has made an interesting offer. They want to outsource the research and development of the newest project, prefab compression, a technology that could potentially allow us to transport prefabs of monumental buildings from Earth. They have a list of specific requirements which makes us the best candidate for this. Our colony is remote, far from prying eyes, almost depopulated in case of nanite contamination, and you would hardly break an agreement of confidentiality, basically because we don't have anyone. Well, so we can straight out decline it. We can accept the requests and ask for 500 million. It reveals the breakthrough prefab compression, or we can accept and request logistics aid. So we gain 150 sponsored research, and reveals the breakthrough prefab compression. So I know, 500 million, no. This gives us a gain of 150 sponsored research for the entire rest of the game. This is way much more important at this point in time. I guess if we were hard up for money, we maybe could do that, but we're going to definitely select the research. And with that, I want to actually go and take a look at this because I've never seen this one. So all spires can be ordered as prefabs from Earth. So this is a new one that I've not seen. Um, so we are, ooh, that's expensive. 10,000 research. Um, but you
I'm
notice
Fennel
now our
Masculine, and you're
base
listening to Mars
research
Official
just went
Radio,
up to
your
250.
reliable source for the music you love.
So yeah, that one I kind of like that, but we're just not there yet. Okay, so the transporter harvests resources faster, and its maximum storage is increased by 15. So we're going to go ahead and just click on that, and just to have one, we're going to go ahead and click on that, just in case we get a big boost. All right, so with that, yeah, we already know that. Thank you very much. It's telling me how to open the build menu as I've been building the whole time. All right, so there is that. Um, there's impact. There's always a need. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You have nothing to explore. Oh, one more thing. That was a mistake on my part. We have the ability to be able to scan the sectors of the planet. That's going to reveal more stuff for us. It was a big mistake that I didn't have any of these clicked. So you can click these up to, if you count that one, 10 can be going at the same time. Now there is a way to speed this up. We have sensor towers with which we can build that will allow faster research, which is something that we definitely want to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into infrastructure and sensor tower. It does take an electronic part, but it does not require electronic parts maintenance. It only requires metal maintenance. So we are going to put that there. Let that go. This is going to get up and running, and building is not working because it's nighttime.
Research complete.
Okay, so we just got a break. I believe that was 50 for us, and now it's down to 30. That'll come in more important as the game begins to progress. Water. We definitely want to begin to extract water. So water is under life support. If you go in here, these are all the things that you're going to need in order to continue to maintain life on your planet. We're going to go to a water extractor. It's much like the concrete extractor, except it's just telling you that water is in this general vicinity. And all that needs for you to be able to extract it is to have the blue hexagons on the water. See, there's no water. Oh, there is water. So you can put as many of these around this as you want. This is an average water supply. This is how much water it has in it. So almost 14,000 gallons. You can pull it out slowly or more quickly, but once this is depleted, this water supply is gone. So at this point in time, we don't really need to extract it very quickly, so we're just going to use one, but I am going to leave room just in case I need to pull out more. Again, it has a dust ring around it, so yeah. I'll bump it up to, actually, I'll go there. Alright, so that's going to go like that. It's going to begin to build. And I think now is probably a good time. Can I build that? I could build that. It's going to take all of my polymers. I'll do that. And now's the time to order another rocket. With our sponsors, we have 2 rockets available, right? Well, 2 rockets to use. We have 1 rocket, that is actually on the planet. So we have one rocket that we can actually send from Earth. These are two different types of rockets, cargo and passenger. They cannot be, passengers and cargo. It's either cargo or it's passengers. And then you can actually order some small supply pods that can just shoot you off, some resources and such. It cannot hold passengers, but we need a cargo rocket. All right, so with the cargo rocket, you open it up and this tells you, this is everything that you have in your colony, so that you don't have to wonder, well, what do I have? I want more polymers, more machine parts, more of those. I'm going to bring a load of seeds. You'll see why. Let me see, I want a transporter this time. I also want a dozer. So that'll give us all four of our major vehicles. This has drones attached to it, so basically it's a roving drone hub. This is what inspects the anomalies. This will run around the planet and gather surface materials, and this will help us in construction projects, which I'm sure are coming. We don't need any food yet. But now, prefab buildings. I want a machines part factory. Now you can get smaller versions of these, and yeah, that would be good, but no, I'm just going to go ahead and get a large one. And then I need an electronics factory. Ooh, I can't get it. Let me see. It is 10,000 kilowatt. Let me see if I can back up. And well, no, probably not. That's fine. We'll do that. Electronics. That's not what I wanted to do. Electronics factory is probably most important right now, because the whole goal is to become self-sufficient, not needing the assistance of Earth. In order to do that, you have to begin to make your own polymers, your own machine parts, and your own electronic parts. Once you can do this, I mean, besides, food and water and electricity, but once you can begin to create these, you become self-sufficient. A lot of this game has to do with balance. All right, so we got a full rocket. Let's launch. Yes, you need to stay in balance. If you become unbalanced within your system, it will collapse. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so the only one that is working is this guy here. I could probably push him down so he will continue to create that. They are creating the dome. So the dome is going to be up and running once we get the concrete. So it'll be daytime. And there's that going. So with that, see our little grinder. He's out here. He's grinding up the planet, grinding up the surface, taking all that substrate in and turning it into some concrete for us. So
coming to a new culture is quite a challenge.
all right.
Over
At
the
this
years,
point,
I
let me
noticed how
double
I
check.
absorbed
You
parts
can go
of
in
the
here and
American
you can look
culture.
at graphs
personality I have
for
today is
all
the
the
result of
different
that
resources
fusion.
that you
I
have.
believe that I
You can look
influenced
at your
America
buildings,
too.
your domes, your
On a
colonists,
meta level,
transportation.
the exact
These
same
are the
kind of
two important
absorption
ones
is
that I
taking
come here
place
all
right
the
now
time for.
on Mars.
So
I'm
power grid.
changing, and the
At this
planet
point
will
in time,
change
we're
too,
producing
developing
15
according to its
power
varying
and
culture.
we're consuming 10
Next track,
power.
please.
That means we have a surplus charge of 5 power. That becomes important because what we can begin to do is we can begin to add batteries. This will begin to help us be able to make it through the night. Batteries are down here. They do cost polymers to build, and they also cost polymers to maintain. So at this point in time in the early game, that is about the only polymer that I want to begin to really use. Um, oh, everything's going to this, so that's why it's not doing
Sector
that.
scanned. Anomaly found.
All right, we got an anomaly. Yes, okay, so that will unlock a research. Let's go down here to the taskbar and just search it out.
Research complete.
Subsurface heaters, so that means we've gotten through those. Okay, we can add 10,000 kilograms to our cargo. We can add extractor amplification. It ups the production, but it also consumes more power. We're just going to click both of these just to have them kind of going. As you complete one in a chain, it unlocks another one. So, all right, and let's see. You know what? This is a nice, good start to our first colony. I think we will go ahead and I'd like to get that built, but it's going to be a minute before that is. So, welcome to Mars. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button to follow along and become
Resources
part
are
of our
low.
community. I know resources are low. It's nighttime. Thank you very much.
Breakthrough discovered.
Cloning. That could be cool. We can build a spire, or if we do that one and then do that one, we can import a spire that'll help us clone people. I don't know that we'll get into that anytime soon, but anyway, thanks for following, and I hope to see you next time.